watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Welcome to Focus on Germantown, and thank you for joining us. I'm Mayor Mike Palazzolo, and it's my privilege to be your mayor and host. Each month, the focus is on city government, how it provides services, and works with you, our citizens, to make Germantown a great place to live. On today's show, Germantown Library Director Daniel Page and Mary Braddock from Books from Birth will be dropping by to talk about the library's new campaign entitled Every Book Counts. This campaign centers around 3 goals that the Germantown Community Library is striving to reach by May of 2018. Then we need to cue up the drum roll because Paul Chandler from GPAC will be joining us to reveal this season's schedule. He is also going to tell us about the latest development of GPAC's new outdoor performance center, The Grove. We will end the show talking to some of Germantown's finest. Chief John Selberg and Captain Howard Jelly Thompson will join us to discuss their recent deployments with FEMA and Tennessee Task Force 1 to hurricane-stricken Texas. But first, I'd like to welcome Daniel and Mary to the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
It's so glad to have both of you here. This is probably one of my most exciting features. I always love to have our librarian and our friends from Books from Birth. Daniel, the library is probably one of the most exciting places in Germantown, and sometimes you don't get that in the same sentence, but in our library, it is.
It is.
Tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit about what's going on at the library this year.
There's so much going on at the library, and we're very fortunate to have such a supportive community who likes to read and believes so much in early childhood literacy and lifelong learning. And of course, we have a lot of programs for children and a lot of programs for adults as well. And they can check out the Go Germantown magazine or come to the library, check out our website. We have lots of activities. We have about 800 visitors to the library a day. During the summer, it's a little bit higher, of all ages, and it's just a fantastic place to be.
Well, I know you draw somewhere over 250,000 people a year to come through the doors, which is amazing.
It is.
It's a center for lifelong learning, and with me, or to me, lifelong learning starts literally in the womb. My predecessor, Mayor Goldsworthy, was a real champion for Books from Birth, and I have followed that lead as well. We're so proud of our partnership. Tell us a little bit about what Books from Birth is up to. I know our city knows about it, but share some more things with us.
Well, the city, we couldn't be more grateful for how much y'all invest in time and talent and treasure, honestly. We have some of the best programs with Daniel, and one of my favorite things is to talk about in different communities is the graduation parties that we've started here in Germantown. We've been doing it for about a year, and we're able to celebrate those children who have gone all the way through the program. And that's a real commitment from parents in their community.
Well, the program starts at 0 and goes to 5, so 60 books during that time frame. I guess kids graduate from kindergarten, but they can also graduate from Books from Birth.
Absolutely.
And it's a really outstanding program. It's in all of Shelby County. At our last numbers we had, Books from Birth, we have 2 different zip codes. We were at 38138. We were close to 100% enrollment. And in 38139, we were right around 90% or so.
Yes,
and so what do we attribute some of these successful numbers to, either Daniel or Mary? How are we so successful?
I would say it's absolutely a community effort. Of course, Daniel and his team at the library are tremendous and put a lot of time and effort and attention to detail to make sure that all the children that come in their doors are asked about it, about Books from Birth when they check out. If they notice that there's a toddler near anyone, I think that's their first question. But also just community members in birthing hospitals, anywhere really children can be, I think, are great champions.
Well, I carry in my car the green card. I'm surprised I
We're
don't
so
have
glad
one
you do,
today. But who are some of our other partners? We partner with our school district and
do.
with Germantown Methodist Lamont Hospital.
That's right.
Both those groups make sure that anyone who fits that 0 to 5,
They do.
their parent or grandparent are going to have a card. And so that's
Right.
very important, because I think some of the things that I've read about books from birth, that lifelong learning leads to lifelong literacy, leads
yeah.
to good health,
Absolutely.
leads to good sound life as
Yeah.
well. And so we're very proud to be partners. Tell us about this new program, Every Book Counts. What
Every
is this
Book
about,
Counts.
Daniel?
Well, we were thinking about how to market the library, and there are 3 things that we try to get in our messaging to the community. One is for everyone to read. The second thing is for everyone to have an active library card. That means they've checked out a book in the last 12 months. And then, of course, for everyone who has a child or grandchild ages 0 to 5 to be enrolled in books from birth. So we thought, why don't we make each of those 3 things its own goal and put it under the umbrella of this program called Every Book Counts. And so we're trying to get everyone to read, get a library card, and enroll in books from birth. And if we get enough participation in May, we have these fantastic prizes that we're awarding. We have cash prizes for the 3 top readers of any age. But then, because of generous partnerships that we have with the Friends of the Library and the Germantown Women's Club and other local groups, we have a cash prize that's going to go to a school in Germantown who reads the most collectively as a school. And right now, it's $2,500 that'll go to that school for a classroom makeover.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incentive right there.
It is.
And so are the numbers good so far?
numbers are
we
good.
getting a lot of people reading and checking out books and getting library cards?
We are. Right now, we're on pace to reach all of our goals, but we have to maintain that from now through May. So we're asking everyone to get a library card, read a book, read as much as you can, and then enroll in books from birth.
Well, and I know you're putting out a lot of information on Facebook and other social media and making sure that you get the word out, which is very, very important. And so you don't have to be enrolled in school. This is anyone
Right.
can.
Anybody. Yeah.
Well, that's simply outstanding. Well, what are some of the other programs? For instance, at our Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting, we did have a nice contribution from
That's
the
right.
Friends of the Library. Please tell our audience a little bit about how they can enroll, what it means, and how it's been important for the community library.
So one of the things that we have at the library is a used bookstore that's operated by volunteers, and they're called the Friends of the Germantown Community Library. And it's the most fantastic used bookstore. They have about 20,000 books, and they're selling about 5,000 a month, and they never run out of books. And you can be a Friends member for $10 a month. No, excuse me, $10 a year. For $10 a year, you get a free book a month, a second free book on your birth month, and then you get to come to, whenever they have special sales, the Friends get to kind of get the prime selection of the books. So it's a fantastic partnership. The proceeds come back to the library and let us do some super cool things like our graduation parties with Books for Birth.
Well, we have about 1 minute left or so in this segment. The Germantown Women's Club has been a great partner over the years. Please share a little bit about what they do for our community, for the community library explicitly.
It's one of the most amazing partnerships because the Women's Club has been in the community supporting the library from the very beginning of its history in Germantown. And of course, it's a very fun story to talk about the different locations in Germantown where the library has been located. And throughout our history, the Germantown Women's Club has been there to provide volunteer work, finances, and just been a great way to boost our morale.
Wow, great information, and thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. The library is a treasure trove of knowledge, and I encourage everyone to sign up for a library card. Enroll at Books from Birth and take advantage of the wide array of programs that our library has to offer. We have to take a quick break, but stay with us.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Welcome back to Focus on Germantown. Here with us now is Paul Chandler, who is Executive Director of Germantown Performing Arts Center, which is also known as GPAC. Paul is here to tell us all about the wonderful live performance opportunities making their way to GPAC for GPAC's 23rd season. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mayor.
Man, you have the best taste in ties. I think we both got up this morning and knew this was going to be a green tie day.
That's right. And ironically, the big thing going on at GPAC is the Grove and the development of the Grove. And so green is a theme of actually the campaign, and we'll roll out the logo soon, and it's got green in it.
Well, I like that. Matter of fact, let's jump right into the Grove. Okay. We can talk about the season in a moment. They're almost both very, very equally exciting. You have made the press like no one has ever made the press in Germantown in quite some time. I think you were in every periodical, every media source on the big announcement about the Grove at GPAC. For all those people that don't ever listen to the radio, watch TV, or read the papers, give us a little thumbnail of what the Grove is. And this it's a kind of a new concept because it's hit the media, but you've been working on this for 18 plus months or so. So share with us the concept and where we're going.
Love to, Mayor. So right next to GPAC is a 1.5 acre area adjacent to GPAC to our north, to the south of the new Thornwood development. And we are going to we are designing with Archimania, a renowned architect firm here in town, to have a outdoor performance space and an entry plaza that is connected to GPAC, which you can access from the outside or through the lobby. And I think some really important elements are we're going to keep that grove of trees.
Hence the green, go ahead.
Hence the green, yes. And the green lawn to provide an environment like no other, so that you can come in the shade of these beautiful big oak trees and other types of trees and enjoy with your family and friends the experiences on the main stage. And it's our intent to have a big video wall so that we can broadcast performances that are occurring inside, and we can put on movies and concert movies, and there's all kinds of great things that we can do with that wall and that whole experience.
Well, I know programming is so important in those type of venues. Some people have asked me, is this going to be like our Levitt Shell or like the In the Garden series? And my answer has been, yes, somewhat, but no, it'll be our own version of those things. So you have shared with me and others before, you envisioned the stage when it's not being used to be used for group exercise or park-like events. So expound on that a little bit.
Sure. Our inaugural season will have maybe 2 big shows, kind of like we do on the interior, sort of national touring shows, but we expect a lot of local performers and regional performers, concert movies, but then also we are talking with the Parks and Recreation Department about the numerous programs that they have and how those groups can utilize the Grove. And then our neighbor, the athletic club, group courses is so popular, so we envision morning yoga or outdoor Zumba or whatever it is that they do in all of those groups with music and dance and movement. And we just see that collaboration between departments to be not only really, really productive in matching our 2030 plan, which was rolled out last year and which has been really the inspiration of this project, was that plan. And these departments coming together are really magical.
Well, it's all about connectivity, and you've got a lot of partners at GPAC, also here at this building, GMSD, and their performing arts program as well. So all of your partners, and some people don't realize this, kind of go over the quick list, and then we'll kind of transition to the season.
Sure.
Who all uses GPAC? Because it's amazing. We don't have enough time to go over all of them.
There are 249 events that occur between September and mid-June, which is astonishing. Some of our primary users, GMSD system with the middle schools and high schools. We have Opera Memphis has all their main stage performances, Memphis Symphony, Ballet Memphis, Iris Orchestra, our very own Iris, Collage Dance Company, and so a few corporations. And boy, the list goes on and on and on and on.
Well, it's amazing, and it's truly, I always like to say, it's our gateway to the region. GPAC welcomes visitors from all over this region to Germantown. Kind of talk a little bit about, this is a unique public-private partnership with the fundraising for the Grove. I like to tell people, you know, it's not very easy to raise money to put your name on a new sewer system. But
Right.
for the performing arts, it's a little bit easier to get partners that want to be part of something like that. So where are you with kind of some, not your fundraising goals, but some of your ideas?
Sure. So we have a nonprofit board that manages the program via a contract with the city, if you will, and that has been going on for 23 years. It's been very, very successful. I would consider us one of, if not the largest nonprofit in terms of the amount of numerous contributions that come in from Germantown citizens, Germantown businesses, Memphis citizens, county citizens and businesses. We raise over $600,000 a year to support programming, and it is essential in the arts to have that kind of support.
Oh, it's incredible. And so I'm so excited about the Grove, but I'm also excited about season number 23. We've already kicked it off with the taping of this show, but we have a full season, and we've only really got about 2 minutes left, so we'll have to go through quickly. Give us some highlights in your different series that we can expect.
So we have
this
the
year.
jazz series, which is incredibly popular, the American music series, which sells out almost every show. We've got the dance series. We've got Aspen Santa Fe Ballet coming up, and the Russian National Ballet coming up. And we have the international series, which is incredible, where you can experience different cultures from all around the world.
Well, and we've got Rihanna Giddens coming up. I think this show will air when that show is going live as well. Give our folks a little flavor of what they need. I'm not sure if there are tickets left or not, but this is going to be one of those you don't want to miss type of shows.
So Rhiannon Giddens, Bruce Hornsby, we've got an Aspen Santa Fe Ballet, tickets at gpacweb.com, and all the information is there.
Well, let me tell you, the GPAC is truly a jewel in our community, and it has been for many, many years. I'm so excited about season 23. I'm so excited about the Grove at GPAC and your leadership. You have developed quite a team. I get so many compliments from people throughout the region and our residents that come to GPAC. They feel welcome, they feel invited, and the ticket prices are somewhat still very reasonable compared to a lot of venues around the country. So, way to go, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
Paul, it's been great to have
Yes,
you.
sir.
After this short break, we will speak with Chief John Selberg and Captain Howard Jelly Thompson from the Germantown Fire Department. Back after this.
Maybe he's really focused.
Hey, Michael. Michael. Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Welcome back to Focus on Germantown. Our city ranks among the best, all thanks to our wonderful first responders. Recently, part of our fire crew was deployed to Houston, Texas to assist FEMA and Tennessee Task Force 1 with their disaster relief efforts. Here to talk about their experiences is Chief John Selberg and Captain Howard Jelly Thompson. Thanks for being with me today, guys.
Thank you, Mayor.
And more importantly, thank you on behalf of the people of Texas and our residents for being, in essence, true volunteers from the volunteer state. You gentlemen, have had vast experience serving with Tennessee Task Force 1. A lot of our viewers are familiar with that group. Some are not. So Chief Selberg, if you could kind of give us a little bit of the history of Tennessee Task Force 1 and perhaps the length of your involvement with that group as well.
Well, the program is a federal program through FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, started back in the early 90s to basically respond to those structural collapse of heavy concrete, unreinforced masonry buildings, such as for earthquakes. The program has really expanded with the ability to do our quick search and rescue operations, such as for tornadoes and hurricanes. We've even expanded it now to do water rescue operations.
Which is incredible, and you had to do much of that in Texas, is that correct?
The team did, yes, sir.
Yeah, and Captain Thompson, your specialty among many is communications. And so how important is that? What I've heard that it's really nothing against the rescuers, they're extremely important and vital, but the communications kind of ties it all together.
When we go into a disaster area, usually the cell towers or whatever have been destroyed and they're not there. As a communications person, we're responsible for satellite uplink and downlink, connecting us back to the world. We're also responsible for inter-team communications, making sure all 80 members of the team have a radio in case something happens, or so that we can communicate with them and stay pretty well hooked up with everybody in the team.
Which is very important, vitally important. Chief, as a matter of fact, I asked Jelly this, I put him on the spot not too long ago. I said, how many times you've been deployed? I don't think he could keep track of it or count of it right on the spot, but you guys have been to some natural disasters, some disasters that were terrorist attacks. Kind of go over some of the experiences you've had over the many years since the 90s that you've served.
Sure. On the team, I serve as a task force leader, but I'm also one of the few people on our team that are also work with the incident support team for FEMA that manages all the teams. So some of my deployments have been with them, and I've probably done over 20 national disasters, going back to Pentagon on 9/11, we responded, Katrina, Rita, just about every hurricane you mentioned, we were probably there. Most recently, Sandy, Matthew, and then Harvey.
And Jelly, you've been along for just about the entire time as well, correct?
I've been to a bunch of them. There's a few. There are actually 3 divisions of the team. We call them red, white, and blue. And I'm currently on the white team. And I've been deployed as an quote extra on some of the other teams. But I've been to I think about 17 hurricanes now.
Good Lord. Now, the benefit for our community, there are many, but your vast experience in natural disasters, if we were to have another tornado come through like in the early 90s, or heaven forbid a train derailment, because that could occur in our city at any point in time. If those things occurred, we've got a very thick manual, emergency disaster recovery type of manual, but we feel pretty good about the experiences that you've gathered, both of you gentlemen, over time. Is that correct?
Yes, the experience that a lot of us have makes it easier to deal with it, and particularly I've found in my role with the incident support team, where I coordinate between the feds and states and the locals, that kind of helps me understand the system out there. So when it comes to us, I understand how to make sure Germantown is took care of also.
How many guys on Tennessee Task Force 1 are Germantown? We also have our IT director who's a member. But,
Tony Fisher.
But
yes.
who else, or how many people from Germantown Fire Department or other first responders?
There's currently probably about 4 or 5 others that are members of the fire department on the task force. We do have several others that are in the early processes of joining.
That's outstanding. And I'd like to kind of switch gears a little bit and stay within fire protection, fire suppression. We had some great news earlier this summer. I'm not going to steal the thunder of that, but we went from an ISO rating of 3 to 1. I understand 10 is the lowest and 1 is the highest. And so we jumped from a 3 to 1. Can you please share with our residents how you made that happen and how it was kind of a cross-functional effort with other departments as well?
Sure. It's the Insurance Services Office. They evaluate the fire protection for the community. We've been a 3, as you said, for many, many years, 1 being the highest. We achieved that, actually went into effect August 1, and that we're one of only 4 in the state that have that level. the neat thing about it is they evaluate our public works on our water system. They look at our police department, how they do the dispatching of police and fire, and then our fire protection capabilities and fire prevention capabilities. So this is kind of a joint effort between a lot of different people in the city.
Well, we're so proud of that effort because moving from a 3 to 1, I think there are less than 250 fire departments in the country that have that designation. We're one of only 4 in the state. And I have been, when I go speak to HOA or homeowners associations, I'll tell them you might want to pick up the phone and call your insurance agent and just tell them we're now a level 1. There may or may not be some type of change, but to let their insurance agent know of the change here in Germantown for information purposes. And I would like to, while we have about a minute or so left, Jelly, I know you're involved in HAM, and why don't you just share, we've had you on the show before about that, but talk about the local group, because with disaster recovery, those folks become very critically important.
So what has been a bigger part of these last two hurricanes, Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma both used major ham. They lost so much of their cell communications. I don't know how many of our local guys got involved in that. I'm sure some of them did because they have to be able to talk from there somewhere to get in touch with. There have been several instances, but yeah, our guys are training constantly to do that too, and as our group grows, we get better.
Well, that's outstanding. We really appreciate both your service to the city of Germantown, to Tennessee Task Force 1, and to all the communities that you've helped for over 20 years in your service, being really true volunteers from the volunteer state. So thank you very much from the mayor and the city of Germantown. It's been great having you as well on the show today. I'd like to thank all of my guests for being on the show today. I'd also like to thank you, the viewers, for taking the time to focus on Germantown. If you'd like more information about this or any other show on Germantown Municipal Television, please visit www.gmtvonline.org. See you next month.